Good evening again. We want to welcome you to another edition of My Lutheran Connections. This is the platform where we discuss all things Lutheran and we secure the fights beyond emotions. Today, we have with us in studio our ambassador there from Freetown, Sierra Leone, the ambassador Jerry Tableau, and also our brother, the tough talking Josiah Jokai from Dansbury, Connecticut. Our lone sister is going to be joining us very shortly. Sis Corpus Silly. Um, our senior brother Batam Ibe Lewali.
I just got an indication from Sis Couple. She's not joining us today. Sis Couple
Oh,
doesn't feel well. Mhm.
oh, okay, all right. I'm sorry that's news just came in. Thank you very much,
Yes.
and we hope to have Batam Ibe Lewali and also our Reverend Zesta Litla Yakwazo, who will be joining us from our studios there in Ohio, Columbus, Ohio. But today we have with us our father. Some people will call him a senior brother. Um, Father Alexander S. Gago. He's the chairperson of the former leadership transition team of the Lutheran Church in Liberia. Um, Not to waste much time, we are going to go straight to Dansbury, Connecticut. Brother Josiah Jokai will be setting up the stage and he will be welcoming our guests. How are you doing today, Bijo?
I'm doing great. I'm doing fine. Well, today we have 50 degrees. Unlike yesterday, we were fluctuating between 15 and 27. Today is 50, so it's much better.
Oh, yeah, but
Yeah.
we are already in Springs anyway, just to let you know.
Right.
Yeah.
So, folks, it's good to be back here. This is my Lutheran Connections Online TV. Um, we are happy to be bringing you information and entertainment today, education. Today, it promises to be fabulous. We are having with us one of our senior brothers in the Lutheran Church in Liberia, in the person of Brother Alexander K. Gago. He is chair of the Leadership Transitional Committee. I don't want to say former. He's in a better position to say that, whether or not it's former. But he played that role to transition the leadership to this point that we have a leadership headed by the Right Reverend Dr. Chief Victor Patmo, a bishop of the Lutheran Church in Liberia. So it is an honor for us to be in conversation with Chairman Gago. Chairman Gago is going to be discussing with us the successes and challenges of the transitional process. And also, if there are outstanding issues, he's also going to be laying them bare clearly here on the show. That's what we do. You know, we discuss fights beyond emotion here. We go to every league and training. Here, everything is open. So it's my Lutheran Connections Online TV. We want to say thanks to all of our friends there across the globe, in the Americas, across Africa specifically. We want to talk about our colleague in Lusaka, Zambia, who's relaying the show, and Jason Akawaya in Nigeria, who's also relaying the show, and our friends in Canada. We want to say thank you very much, Canada and Australia. We want to say thank you very much for everything you do to relay my Lutheran Connections Online TV. So we won't waste your time. Today we have Jerry pretty seated, loaded as usual with all his thought-provoking questions. We also have Willie seated right there in Georgia in the ATL. He's ready to shoot, and we say welcome to our guest. We will go to take his initial comments. Brother Gago, we want to say welcome to the show.
Thank you, Brother Josiah and the rest of the team. Firstly, I'd like to say thank God that tonight we are going to discuss a variety of issues concerning the transitional team that took the responsibility to take the leadership from former Bishop Tanyankulu to Bishop Patmo. And I want to say thank you for the invite, and I hope and pray that we can have a very friendly conversation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Brother Gago. You can be sure that we're going to have a decent and a friendly conversation as usual. The only thing we do here is that no iota or ounce of the fight remains under the table. We discuss every aspect of it. So you are both welcome. To begin with, we want to know where we are with the transitional process. Where are we right now, here and now?
Thank you. uh, quite friendly with you as I speak to you. The transitional team has not been dissolved. The team was established in two phases. We had a team from the Patmos and sorry, Bishop Patmos, and then we had a team from the Bishop St. Close end. And we combined the two teams, had it reduced, and the team started to work. And part of the work of this team, the reason why I say the team is still standing, one of the crucial work of this team is the issue of verification. It was during the transition that we decided to establish this so that we can get to establish and know what this team, what the Patmos team is going to start up with. And we have had some differences on the issue of a transitional committee setting up what you call verification committee, which supposed to be telling Bishop Patmo, this is what you met and this is what you're going to start up with. So this committee, as I speak to you, probably the Sir of Bishop Seyankulu is out, but the team remain in full swing until we can do a full verification and tell you as Lutherans where do we stand. So the team is not still a formal team.
Thank you for the clarification. So the team is stay fully active and operational. So from the mandate standpoint, are you saying that verification was part of the TOR of your committee?
Yeah. The way we wanted it done was this way. We decided that we had a transitional committee in a very huge stop, and we decided to put the committee into various classes. We wanted to have separate team professionally to handle our our transition by team. Team A would have been responsible to work with trauma healing and tell us what our status as a church with trauma healing. Team B would have worked with probably LTI and current hospital to tell us what was what. But unfortunately for us, uh, Bishop Sayanklo saw the team and said the team was so large. And we tried to explain to him what we decided to have the team the way it was. And he said no, we need to reduce it. He said we need to reduce the team. And the church being the church, seniority exists among the pastors. Bishop Seyonklo at the time was still a senior, or he is still a senior in fact, to Patmo. So he narrowed the team and said, in fact, we need to work together, not having separate group, not having the Patmo group. I was like trying to be a little political on the setting up of the transitional committee, because what I witnessed, which I have not seen before, but I saw a clear transition between Madam Salif and Mr. Weir, and I took part in that transition, and I saw what a transition really looks like. But we never had this opportunity from Bishop Sanklo. He saw it in a different understanding, and he decided that we'll do it the way he wanted us to do it. So, by that, since we saw that, there was a reason why we said, well, if we cannot do this uh, tomorrow, the future will hold Bishop Patmore responsible. If we don't do what we're supposed to do, tomorrow somebody, Patmore, will say, oh, I did not see anything in the church. I started on the zero stock. Somebody will say, no, you started with something. You started with, there will be an argument. So we decided that we should avoid this and set up this transition committee. This transition committee is not going to be an enemy committee. We just want to establish the fact that to tell me this property is being leased. Where do we stand with this lease agreement? Those are issues we wanted to have clarified. This other property have been leased. How many years are we into this lease agreement? The church needs to know, Bishop needs to know what the remaining years. Where do we stand financially with the lease arrangement? Those are issues that we wanted to verify. But then on the other hand, if people don't understand you, there are a lot of statements, people referring to us as witch hunters. We were not deciding to witch hunt anyone. We just decided that the church should remain the church, but let us know where we are as a church. So because of this issue and the transitional, uh, uh, the verification committee being challenged to some level by some individuals, that we don't have the legal standing to check church document and the rest of it. So as I speak, the transitional committee, sorry, the verification committee have not started her work. We are yet to start.
Right. So the verification committee will want to treat it as a separate topic from your traditional role as a transitional committee, moving the leadership from Siangolo to Bishop Patmo. I know a lot went on, even though you had two teams coming together to form a national transitional team. That's the Siangolo, from the Siangolo leadership, and from the incoming then Bishop Patmo's leadership. But I'm sure there were reports that were available to the committee, like technical reports, like financial reports, and everything, and then recommendations about, for example, the bishop's residence, because that has been a sticky issue. The traditional bishop's residence was demolished, and you had a quote unquote a conference center built, a multi-purpose structure put up. Funds were raised from that, and the bishop was supposed to be moved to a new residence. I don't know where the transitional committee is on that. Those are the kinds of things that probably the audience would like you to throw some light, to share some light on. Like the bishop residence, where are you with that? The financial reports that you receive as a transitional committee that also prompted the idea of verification. So where are you on those kinds of crucial matters?
Um, you sent now a couple of questions. Joe, you need to, can we do it step by step? What do you want me to address right now? You want me to
Talk
talk?
about the bishop residence, and then
Yes.
from there you will come to the other aspect of the list, the financial reports you receive, because as a committee you receive those reports from the Siangolo leadership leaving, and but talk about the bishop residence first, please.
Thank you. Uh, Joe, on the issue of the bishop resident, uh, this is a historical issue. Couple of years before 2022, several times the executive council met. Some members of the executive council of the LCL raised the issue of where would the new bishop be, and the leadership of Bishop Senyanklo continued to tell the executive council that this was not an issue to discuss. They already have a resident prepared for whoever becomes bishop. At one point in time, the bishop today, Bishop Patmore, raised this issue at an executive council meeting, and friendly speaking, he was slapped by Bishop Senyanklo. That why only you will always be talking about Bishop resident. Probably God was speaking to him and telling him that you will be the next bishop. But he was not thinking that way. His concern was whoever becomes bishop, where are they going to be? The executive council assured, because Bishop was heading the executive council, assured the rest of the members that there will be a resident. Now elections were held. We came back as a transitional team. We raised it. Um, we were being misled by by Bishop's uncle leadership. Administratively, since Naomi was handling the administration, she and the treasurer, they told us that there was a space for us to have the bishop to be sleeping. So we said, but then where is the permanent resident? They said there was a house somewhere along the Cinco end, I think somewhere around, right by 13th Street office. I must tell this team, we went to this house as a team because there was once, I think my sister Naomi was hosted by you, and she made mention that the transitional team went there. We went at the house. We did not enter the house. We stopped in the fence. If you enter that fence, team members, that fence is inside is beautiful, and you will want for your bishop to reside there. But by then, when we saw this place, we were not given the privilege to enter because the guy who was occupying the place was still there. This guy had, in fact, written a letter to the team, to the former team that is uh, Bishop Sanklo's team. He wrote them asking them to extend his time. And they brought a letter to us. I being the team head, I took it to my team members, and they said, no, Bishop need to move in. So unfortunately for us, the day we had the opportunity to enter the house, oh my God, it was like we were in hellhole. And
What?
everyone got frustrated in the process. Why do you guys have to lie to us? You knew a new bishop was coming. Over the months, over the years, you had somebody occupying the house you were depending on to host the bishop.
Hmm.
Is it the responsibility of the transitional team to repair the house? No.
So,
Bishop
so
come.
brother Gaku, who lied in that instance? Who made that deception?
Who lied now was it the Sanyankro leadership.
Wow.
Bishop Sanyankro leadership. They that because the thing is that if you tell somebody Joe is coming to Liberia and he calls me, Alex, I'm on my way next month or more after next. Where am I going to be when I come? Oh, Joe, come. Everything is fine. Joe comes to RI and I take him to a place where even he will not allow his security to sleep. So who is fooling who? That's the leadership. So all of us got frustrated. But initially, in fact, Joe, the bishop's wife had told us, I don't want my family to live outside of the compound. I need a place on the compound. But we couldn't identify anywhere on the compound, suitable for a bishop to reside. So that's the only option we had. So we told Bishop, we agree with your wife, but for now, you have to move to where the people have. So this team, the Bishop St. Croix team, uh, misled us. And I don't want them or any member of them to ever come and say something that does not represent them. And they told you, because the bishop resident have been discussed even prior to the election by you.
Yeah, yeah,
All of
we
us
discussed it.
were being misled that there was a place prepared for the incoming bishop. Nobody knew who was going to be the bishop.
Hmm.
So on the issue of bishop resident, it squarely rests on the shoulder of the leadership of Bishop Sayanklo. They
The Bishop
misled
Sanglo
us.
is no longer in power. His leadership is no longer in power.
And that's what
So,
I said. They gave us the misleading information. They gave it to us, they gave it to you.
okay, thank you, brother Gago, so much to unpack here. I will now go over to my colleague there, President in our studios in Freetown. Ambassador, it's over to you.
Thank you, Joe. So that is the reason why, Brother Gagu, we got our motto saying securing the facts beyond emotions. You are right, we granted the former GS the opportunity to sit with us, and a lot came up around this issue of the bishop's residence. And as you rightly stated, part of the blame was laid bare on the transition team for the fact that say Bishop himself with some of the members of the team went and visited the resident. Why they didn't raise the issue at that time? The question still remains. I'm not too sure you have answered that. The first time the security didn't allow you to enter, at what point in time you enter and saw that the place was deplorable? Was it after Bishop Padmo had taken over or was prior to Bishop Padmo taking over?
Um, Prior to the consecration of Bishop Patmo, I just told you we entered the fence and we were not allowed to enter the house because somebody was still occupying the house.
Hmm.
So my frustration was that executive council was told that this place has been prepared for the incoming bishop. Let's disregard Patmo. Whoever would have been bishop, that house was being prepared for them according to Bishop Sayanklo and his team. So our assumption was just as we saw the yard of the fence being beautiful, that's how inside was. And someone can be residing in the house. Why did Bishop Sayanklo and his team allow this young man to remain in the house until after election? When prior to election you had told the entire church that you had a place. So this place should have been prepared, ready only for Bishop Patmo to move. If I will understand myself, if I will understand what they told the executive council. I'm not a member of the executive council. I've never been a member of the executive council of LCL. But they continue every time they came from this place, you will hear that, oh, Bishop resident is prepared. You are a living witness to it.
All right, that's great. And I got a bit shocked when I heard you saying that we should not call it the former transitional team. Rather, the team is still in effect and has not been dissolved. So my question to you is, uh, what actually is the status of the team and what role are they playing currently?
Like I said to you, when you have a transitional team, the outgoing leadership will have a team to work along with the incoming leadership. Those two teams needs to meet to discuss a lot of issues. I heard even Joe talking about financial report. We did not receive financial report. We received a turnover note from Bishop Sanklo, a turnover note that did not tell me how many accounts LCL operates. It was at a later date that I got to hear that LCL has been operating a little close to uh, 30 or a little more than 30 accounts. For what reason, I don't know. I did not know that as a transitional team head. So we were not given a comprehensive report that one can vividly look at and say, look, this report is telling me where we stand as a church. And I guess that turnover report probably have been, you guys have a copy. You do, right?
Yes,
So,
we do.
okay. If you look into that turnover note, I don't know. I might be a little man. I did not do much studies on that. I don't know whether that turnover note was telling me as a little man in the LCL where I stand as a church. So that's it. That those are the issues we've been having, and we were like
So
watching.
you don't have a turn. So you don't have a
Wait,
turnover note. You
Jerry.
didn't receive any financial report. Therefore, you assume that the transitional team, is still in effect. So the assumption by the parity of logic is that until and unless you can have those documents, you still don't consider that transitional team to be formal transitional team. Is that what you are
So
insisting?
on the side of Patmo, as far as I sit before you or before the LCL members,
Mhm.
my
Yeah.
committee has not been dissolved. This committee has not been dissolved. But let me say this. Truth being told, you know, transition around the world, there are two types of transitions. One is the friendly one and one is the unfriendly one. We had we had a better one. That's the unfriendly one we had. When you have a transition where the outgoing leader was not expecting someone to succeed him, and unfortunately for him or her, sees that person coming to succeed, that transition is an unfriendly one. And transition requires total disclosure. You need to tell someone who is coming where you are, how you look like, and what they expect to see. So we had an unfriendly transition because probably the leadership wasn't expecting a partner. Maybe they were expecting somebody else. So we had this uh, disenchantment on issues. But again, like I said to you, we decided to remain who we were, and we decided to accept. You can have a transitional leadership, go to
But
meetings.
brother, but brother Gagu, but brother Gagu,
Yeah.
one of the contender or contestant in the race was Palmo. So and Sangolo was not going back. So how will it be an unfriendly transition if he sees a Palmo coming? I mean, I don't understand. I don't understand that really, because it would be a Padmo winning. It would have been a what the other name of the other guy, or Reverend Goba winning. It may have been anybody. So to say it was unfriendly, I still don't
Maybe,
understand the
maybe,
logic. But
maybe
that
you may.
besides the point.
All right. Maybe you may
That
want me
besides.
to. Can I
Yeah,
divert a
except
little?
yeah, that is why I want you to give full disclosure, because you're speaking in code right now. So I want you to decipher what you're trying to say, because I don't think anybody was discriminating. Is that the case?
Okay. I love that. Can I divert a little bit from the church?
Please do.
Great.
Yeah, please do. Go ahead.
Uh, I'm a member of LCL and currently I'm a member of the current government. And the transition I witnessed between Ellen and George Weah was a very friendly one. Had this transition been between Ellen and Joseph Boakai, it would have been a better one. Leaders are in power and they want certain people to succeed them. And I must be very frank with you, the leadership of Seanklo was not in support of Padmo. I was campaign manager. So when I'm using the word unfriendly, you were not expecting this person to do or to come after you. And the persons come after you. Every good thing this man wants to do, it will sound in the ears or in the mind of the rest of the people that they are after me. We're not after anybody. We are not chasing individuals. We are looking at where should we take LCL from. Josiah is not prepared to join one Pentecostal church right now. He does not have that age in his favor. Neither me.
No.
So the issue we're discussing is not an individual, it's a church. It's the LCL we have. If it's all of us property, we got up, we saw our parents, we are there. Some of our brothers and sisters have diverted, we remain. So when I use the word friendly, when you are friendly with somebody and you are turning something over to them, you know the manner in which. If I were your enemy, Jerry, and you came at my house to present something to me, you're not even going to enter my fence. You will call the security and say, "Look, please get that thing to the boss or to your boss." That's unfriendly presentation. So maybe if you still want me to further go more than that, uh, which I don't want to do,
Yeah,
the word.
I think you have attempted to clarify what you meant by friendly and unfriendly, which is your
I
opinion,
think
and I don't think that would be the opinion of many. But notwithstanding, let me just also ask you this, coming back to the issue of the residents. Also, what's the status of the residents currently? And since this transitional committee is still intact, what is the role you are playing currently to get the residents up to date so that the bishop can relocate?
the plan is now to farm means to raise some money. And as I speak to you right now at this moment, LCR is broke. So I'm always at the office of the bishop. Uh, he tells me he's on his feet. We're trying to raise some money, but right now his concern of the church is not really he's not really concentrating on his residents. It's important, but there are issues right now in the church that are important and not resident. He has a place to sleep. That's why he always tell me, I got a place to rest my head. So that should not be our worry right now. It's not
No,
like
it
now.
is a worry. It is a worry. It is a worry, Brother Gago, because we are talking about the residence for the bishop, and like you correctly stated, not necessarily Bishop Patmo. So the transition team is still in effect, and we should be preparing ourselves for subsequent bishop that will come. Bishop Patmo may go there for the second term. Bishop Patmo may say, "I don't want to go there for the second term," but the bishop that coming. So I'm asking, now that this committee is still in effect and has the TOR to look at this issue of the residence of the bishop, what's the status currently of this residence, and what are you guys doing to ensure that we have a residence for our bishop? The security of our bishop is important. It's now left to the bishop, for the bishop to think on what I need to worry about. We are worried about the bishop's security. So it's not the bishop's worry. It's the church LCL worry. And if the bishop don't see it as an important issue, that's the bishop. But it is important. And so, as a member of in fact, the head of the transitional committee or team, we want to know what's the status of that residence. what are you guys? What role are you guys playing in showing that that residence, is livable for the bishop to relocate, and then maybe we'll go on to something concerning monies being raised for the entire resident issue. If you can throw light on that, but I will go in more detail. But I just want to know, one, what's the status, the current status of the residence? Two, what are you guys doing to ensure that the residence is livable for the bishop to relocate? And maybe that will be my last for this round.
Okay. Thank you, Jerry. Like I just said to you, the entire issue of the bishop resident now boils down to finance. It boils down to finance. We've been having some discussion on this issue, and we are working up some modalities. And the leadership is not sleeping. The leadership is finding means to see how best this building can be renovated and be prepared for the bishop residence. And that's what I just said to you, and that's what I'll continue to tell you. We're not going to hold, I mean, it's gone. You're not going to call Bishop Triangulo back to say, come and renovate. No, it's now the responsibility of LCL. LCL will have to think, and I know also this Malutrin connection, you are also working in the background. All of us will have to work as a team to making sure that the security of our bishop is paramount.
Willie, up to you.
Okay,
Big Joe?
thank you, Brother Gago. Thank you very much, Jerry, for that round of questioning on the bishop's residence. I know Willie may have one or two questions. I'll be going to Willie, but let me ask a straightforward question just to close up on the bishop's residence. Is the bishop still residing in the guest house, Brother Gago?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
all right. Okay. At least we know he's staying in the guest house, and efforts have been made to raise money to be able to renovate the building, to have the bishop move forward to the building. Fine. There are other questions, like Jerry said, will come about fundraisers that have been taking place. Whether or not you have some idea on that, you can espouse on it. But Willie, do you have any questions for the guests for now?
Sure, absolutely. And again, we want to thank you very much for accepting our invitation to appear. Um, I I have two questions. One has to do with the. I mean, we looked at the bishop residence, but I also understand that there was an issue with the bishop being mobile. So did the bishop, um, get the official, LCL one turned over, and in what condition was it turned over? Because there are some other information around that the vehicle itself was kind of broken down, and there are efforts also on the way on speaking with partners to get a vehicle for the bishop to be mobile, or the vehicle was in the garage, so to speak. So how was that turnover process? And the next one has to do with this, that you know we might say that, like ambassador was saying, we might say that the bishop is in the guest house. Well, that's fine, he's on the compound. But I can tell you for a fact that during one of our programs, the bishop was with us on the program, and current went out, he had to use a phone light. So this is more concerning the fact that this is the bishop we are talking about of the Lutheran Church in Liberia. We are not talking about an acolyte in the LCL. We're talking about the bishop, the chief shepherd in our church. So it is more concerning as well when it comes to security. So I just wanted to make that point. And the next thing would be that um, the transitional team went on site. From what you explained, I want to understand that you trusted the information provided by the outgoing leadership transition team. So perhaps that's the reason why you did not insist to go in the building to capture some photos. But do you have any, like, some pictures from from just from the outside of the building, because we understand that the roof itself was, I think the roof or the inside the ceiling of the house was also badly damaged. So do you have any photo evidence?
As I speak to you, um, let me go to your first question.
Yeah.
And your first question has to do with the vehicle.
Right.
Um, this vehicle has been used by the former bishop for a couple of years, and
Okay.
we have rough terrain in this country. This vehicle was turned over in a very deplorable condition. And
Hmm.
as I speak to you, the bishop is using sometimes his private jeep. Sometimes if he's going to some rough terrain, he use some of the project cars. Right now, Bishop is out of Monrovia or on his way to Monrovia, but LCL one is packed because of its condition. And I wouldn't want to squarely put that on the past leadership because as car, maybe it might have lived its useful life. And there were negotiations started by the past leadership for us to have a vehicle. This vehicle for the bishop might either be close to Freeport or maybe at the Freeport. What is worrying the office of the bishop is that we no longer have um, the privilege to have things brought to the church taken from the port freely. The duty-free opportunity we had was misused by some churches, and that was taken away from the churches. I don't really know what it's going to cost to free that jeep from the port, but we are close to having a new vehicle for the bishop office, but the old vehicle is packed. And on the issue of pictorial evidence, right now I don't have it because I had it in the old phone I had the day we went there. I videotaped the outside of the yard, or let's say within the perimeter of the fence. I did not enter the house. And the second time that the team went or we went there, I also did a video where the seating is deep in wall, and we will real the building is actually damaged. But to answer your question, I don't have a picture to send you, but I can assure you that maybe in our next meeting point or even through whatever means, I will send it to you guys through WhatsApp.
Just a follow up quickly. Just a follow up quickly. Uh, 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 per tradition, I would say Mr. Gago anyway for the show. Kind of, but just a follow up. Are you aware, because are you aware that the building in question that we're talking about renovating? Are you aware that the building is, or is the building in question available for renovation, or is being leased at this time? It's still being leased.
Uh, there are some arrangement because the availability of funding is our problem. Maybe there are some arrangement to see whether this building can go to another group to see whether they can give it a facelift because like I said to you, it's
Brother
unfortunate for
Gagu,
us.
Brother Gagu,
Mhm,
Brother Gagu, I'm very sorry. The question
yeah.
is a pointed question. Is the
Mhm.
building available for renovation or is in list? Is the building list right now? Yes or no?
The building is now on a lease.
It's
No,
not,
right.
or it is now on the list. Which one? It's not.
It's not.
He said it's
The
not.
building
Okay.
is not.
It's okay.
Yeah, he says not on a
All right.
list.
So the building is not on a list.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's
All
available
right.
for renovation at this time. Yeah. Go ahead, Bijo.
Thank you very much, Willie. Thank you, Jerry, for those pointed questions. Brother Gago, thank you so far for providing clarity and more information around the transitional process. But there are still many gray areas that require some clarifications because we've been receiving conflicting reports because, from where we sit as a media network, we are deeply rooted. Our partners are on the ground and we get a lot of reports. Our understanding is that the building is still being occupied. I don't know how authentic that information is, and it is still being leased. The lease agreement has not expired yet. So that's something that still needs verification, Brother Gago. I don't know to what extent you can verify that information that it is not being leased, but our understanding is that the building is still currently being leased and it is still being occupied. That's why we are concerned about the veracity around, whether or not somebody is still in it or is available for renovation.
Thank you. If this building is currently, the first lease agreement was terminated, and the guys wrote a letter for extension, which
Mhm.
we refused. We
Okay.
denied them. If if this leadership have decided to rearrange a new lease agreement, I'm not in the know.
Fair
As
enough.
far as I know, the lease agreement was terminated, and the letter he wrote for renewal or extension was denied.
Thank you so much for that clarification, and that's fair enough, Brother Gago. So it also
Yeah.
requires a follow up on your part as chair
I
of the
will do a
transitional
follow up,
committee.
and Joe,
And
I'm going to do a follow up. Probably, there are some issues I need to find out, and I will let you guys if I can reappear.
yeah,
Absolutely. You're always welcome. Yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely.
So we want to thank you for that clarification, and that's fair enough, Brother Gago.
Joe,
The
Mr.
other thing I
Mr.
wanted
Mr. Big Joe, Mr. Big Joe. I'm very sorry. Before you switch from the bishop's residence to the next line of questioning you want to bring, please permit me to just again get this one information as part of Brother Gago's verification on this whole issue of whether or not the bidding has been leased. Brother Gago, and we'll get to that in detail. Moravia District had a convention. They raised some money. They asked all of the parishes in Moravia District to raise some funds so that they could be able to renovate that residence. Why have the renovation not taken place up to now? What has been the obstacle? What is the obstacle?
When was Mora District Convention?
Brother Gago, I'm
Um,
asking the question. I'm asking
Mora
the question.
District Convention was held if they raised money. Have they turned this money over to LCL? That
So
I'm
you
not
tell
aware.
us
No, wait,
because they prior to the
Jerry,
convention,
Jerry,
the monies were being raised. Churches, parishes were being asked to raise the money, and so the monies were being raised. So I'm just asking whether the monies have been turned over and why the renovation has not been on the way. Why have we not started the renovation?
you see, that's what I asked you the question because the two sides of the story. I'm not
right.
employed with the LCL leadership, no,
Mhm.
and I'm not active with Mora District, no. So if Mora District raised money for renovation, uh, those who are providing the information should be able to tell us whether this funding has been turned over to LCL,
Right.
and if that has been done, then I need to do a follow up.
Right.
That's a follow up I need to do
And,
because I'm
and,
not
and,
going to.
and ju- and just to provide information quickly, the convention was held last week.
yeah.
Not this one week, but a week before. Yeah. Yeah.
The convention ended on Saturday.
Saturday.
Right.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
Saturday.
convention
Right.
ended on Saturday, and
Right.
I'm not too sure if right after that convention,
The
whatever was
money was turned
raised
over.
from that convention has been turned over. If it has been turned over, then I need to do a follow up.
Fair enough.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I think Ambassador, what we are getting in terms of information from the convention is just from a privileged standpoint that some, members, some of those who partook in the convention have just been releasing some information in bit and pieces about progress, and people can be excited in that respect. To just let the public know the kind of development that's taking place, the extent to which individuals and institutions are supportive of the
Right.
activities of the leadership.
Right.
But here is it, Brother Gago. You had a turnover note from the past leadership. Yes, we saw the copy of the turnover note, and I was a little bit in shock because an institution historic like the LCL, a turnover note is supposed to be comprehensive, especially so when you have a transitional team in place. The team is supposed to work in parts. When I say in parts, there should be different teams or individuals responsible for various teams, thematic areas. Like finance, for example, your committee is supposed to be Okurum with the financial report moving over from the previous leadership to the new leadership. Supposed to be Okurum with the pension scheme, what actually transpired during the leadership of during the past leadership, the report of the reconciliation and trauma healing program is supposed to be turned over. All of you guys supposed to review all those different. That's what constitute the transition, so that nothing is left undone, unnoticed, uncovered. But I am not sure that happened in your case. Probably you are just privileged to understand a bit about the accounts that the LCL had, up to 30 plus accounts. So Brother Gaku, are you saying in short that you did not receive any cooperation from the past leadership in the transitional process?
No. That question is too broad. I don't want to say we did not receive any.
Mhm. And
We
can you clarify? Can you clarify the doubt by speaking specifically to aspects of the transitional process that you received cooperation and those that you did not receive cooperation on?
One of those area, if I want to speak of, would be the area of finance. The area of finance. Um, the conclusion, the conclusion of the consecration, and in transition, the team work together to smoothing situation as you guys go along. And at our meetings, our joint meetings, instead of the chairman chairing, all meetings were chaired by former bishop. And I raised that with my team, but the
Brother Gago,
team,
let me stop you right there, please. If that happened, why it didn't happen the other way around? And why did you still allow yourself to be chair when the former bishop imposed himself?
that's what I told you. Uh, Sometimes when I'm having this kind of discussion, I'm reminded by a sermon preached by current UL president. Let the church be the church.
Yeah, man.
The church will always be the church.
Hmm.
So, if I had brought in the political side of the story, what we're talking about would have been different. But I raised it. I did not want to say it. We still saw him as our Lord Bishop. Consecration had not taken place, and when we got to the meeting, he said he had to chair the meeting. I raised it up with my team, and the team had a head. Though I'm the chairman, but I couldn't sit before two bishops, outgoing and incoming, to dictate that I have to chair the meeting. So the meetings were all chaired by Bishop Seyanklo. So you can see how these meetings were conducted, right? Like when we presented to him the team, the transitional team, he told us, "Hey, look, this number is large. I'm not going to work with this." And so we let him flow. And that's how even when we got to the discussion of honoring the bishop at the end of the consecration. So the question was, who then is the celebrant? Who are we honoring? If you honor the outgoing bishop at the end of the consecration at a dinner, so who is being honored? Is it Bishop Patmore or Bishop Jensen? Again, we had to let peace flow.
Brother
So
Gago,
those
who asked for the honoring? Who asked that the honoring take place?
who asked?
Yeah.
The
Who
outgoing
requested?
leadership,
Who
because the convention had a resolution. Convention in Bangladesh elected Patmore, passed a resolution, and the resolution says the bishop and his officers should be honored at an appropriate program. But the outgoing leadership felt that the guests who had come to witness the consecration needed to also witness the former bishop or the outgoing bishop honoring program. So we
did you
had,
differ with that proposal? Did you differ with that proposal?
yes, we did,
Okay.
but Joe, the church has to be the judge.
Amen.
And Brother Gago, my understanding is that more than $5,000 was spent on the consecration ceremony.
Say that?
More than 5,000 United States dollars was spent on the consecration ceremony.
Huh. I need to. There was some cash spent. People raised funding. We opened the treasure hat. The treasure mobile money number was giving out. Parishes donated funding for us to have this program held. Bureau committees sent in their budget. The media, the uh, the entertainment committee, and other committees submitted. Right now, I can tell you exactly how much was used. But what you have just said, a little over 5,000 was used.
Oh, then in that case, you agree with us that a little over 5,000 was used.
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. For a consecration ceremony that was dictated by the former bishop, not by the transitional team, and the former bishop micromanaged the transitional process. That is the understanding we have to communicate to our viewers, that it was not about the team that were constituted to effect the transitional process. Their hands were tied, they were micromanaged, and Bishop Sianglo also tried to knock on the committee in a, way that was unacceptable, because a lot of things that happened wouldn't have happened with the committee leading the process in the way that it should be. That's the general understanding. But Brother Gago, thank you thus far. We're coming back to you after the recognition of our guests, of our viewers, sorry. This is my Lutheran Connections online TV. We come to you every Sunday at this time. This is your premium Lutheran communication platform. Thank you for being here. We are just down with 75% of the show. We got 25% more to go after the recognition of our viewers. Willie, it's over to you.
Oh, thank you so much, Big Joe, and thank you so much, Father Gago, for staying here with us today. We want to recognize the former president of the National Lutheran Youth Fellowship. I understand he's the newly installed president of the youth arm of the Liberal Council of Churches, Brother Royal Jerome Jala. We also want to recognize the Reverend Wokolo Colley. We also want to recognize the senior brother Stephen Zikova Jr., our sister Marlene Mulva. She's there in Rhode Island, and our father Manikwele K. Sumo. He's there in St. Louis, Missouri. And our brother,
a regular viewer, Father Melpele,
he is a regular viewer. Yes,
we want to say thank you.
Yes, and our brother, Josiah, not Josiah. I'm about to say Josiah, Elijah Zena.
Right.
Yeah, our brother Elijah Zena. We want to recognize. You also want to recognize Abin Kamo, Roger Abin Kamo, the
Right.
the LCL ambassador,
A regular viewer.
regular viewer as well, and also a regular viewer, Mother of Liga being. Oh, the Reverend Chillo is here following us. He's the former BA. He's following us as well. But Elijah is following us, but his comment is kind of long, but we kind of
put the comments on. Put the comments on, and we want Brother Gago to take note of the comment.
Okay,
People need to put institutions. People need to put institutions above self-interest. Usually, we find the opposite in our institutions, especially our church. That's why we have always had tensions within our church after elections and transitions, because people always see their running mates as enemies rather than seeing them as compatriots with another agenda geared toward the development of the same institution. I hope our church changes its mindset and becomes more institutional based rather than individual interest based. Yeah, I think this is quite significant. Elijah, thank you.
Right. No, so I was thinking that, during the time when we open the lines, getting questions from out there, I was thinking we were going to flag that. But we have some questions in the queue here. We're going to flag that as well.
As you put it out, we try our best to read it, and then Brother Gaku can take notes.
Right, and we also want to recognize our brother Zila. No, this name that's Zila Garman Zimavai. It's a long.
This is Mistress Kokoya.
Kokoya. I know. I was just trying to start a name.
That's Sis Daboy.
That's it. Yes.
Her name is Daboy.
I was trying to tie her name. I was trying to tie the name to her face, and the picture got me distracted.
Kokoya, Mistress Kokoya.
Right, Mr. Kokoya. Yeah. The picture got me distracted. That's the reason why, but I know fully well that I remember this name. And speaking of regular viewers, I also want to recognize our sister Victoria Langbek Johnson. Yes, and our viewers there too in Nimba County. I just forgetting the brother name in Nimba, and also in the southeast in Maryland. We had some viewers in the southeast who tune regularly to our program, but Big Joe, I think those are the few.
Wait. I want this to be shown. So yeah, I mean, just issue like we read the comment from Elijah.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, okay. Say the funds raised by parishes of the Monrovia district at St. Andrew were deposited to the central LCL.
The LCL. That's the Central Lutheran Church account, which Brother Alexander Gago will not have, access to at this time information. Even if he has, I'm not sure he's privileged to be discussing it. That account. But
Joe,
I also want to clarify.
We are also providing information for him to help him as he going to do his own investigation. We know that he's not part of the leadership of the Monrovia district, but that's the reason why we stopped asking the question to him on what has happened to the monies raised and whether or not the renovation has started. But he said he's going to do follow fair enough. But we just also want to give him sufficient information of people in the parishes that raised the money, saying that the monies have been turned over to the central office, so he's aware.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. And that's a plus. Yeah.
Right. So speaking of the money, what's the name? Jerome Jala, talked about, I want to believe this is the same amount that Brother Corver was referencing, but he said this was not done at the assembly. This was done at St. Andrew, because the assembly took place at St. Peter's, and Brother Corver is saying that the money raised at St. Andrews. So no
matter where the money was raised, the only thing here is we just want to give information.
Go and get clarification on it.
Yes, that's all.
Yes.
So team, bottom line, this is great news.
Right.
This is what we all strive for. we've discussed it on our show. We've encouraged Lutherans to contribute, to support efforts in getting the bishop a decent and befitting resident, to also support other projects of the church. If Lutherans are coming up and raising monies in these different amounts, this is quite significant. And we just like to use the occasion to say thanks to all who are making the contributions. And I think some of these contributions are being made as a result of the accountability stance that the leadership has taken, and the nature, the scope of job that we are doing here at My Lutherans Connection online TV to hold people accountable when they are entrusted with mandates and responsibilities. I think this is a new paradigm shift in the LCL, and it's going to be helpful in getting everybody on board. We got another one from Woklo, Brother Woklo. Let's raise
that. So sorry.
Let's put that up, please.
Ambassador, you want to bring that up, please? Okay.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So Reverend Woklo Colley says that this was a concern for all of us that we house the bishop based on the target cost for renovation of the building that brought about the fundraising. The fundraising suggests that a quantity survey was done and a work schedules was also put in place. So why have this renovation not yet started? I'm sure Brother Gagu is a part of the planning process, so need to give us a clear-cut reason why and give us a timetable for the renovation, and when will it be completed on this platform. Just yesterday, I passed by. Okay.
Wonderful, Brother Woklo. Brother Gagu is in your court. Like Ambassador asked the question, Brother Gagu, about the funding issue. This is being raised by so many Lutherans that they are now fully aware that some funds have been collected. And Brother Gagu, when you go to do your follow-up, I think these are all pieces that you can put together to inform your inquiry. Because Lutherans are now eager to see the renovation work started. And I hope that we're not going to change the code in terms of changing the application of the money raised. It should be directed to the renovation. I hope that can be part of your conversation with the leadership, because you can see the comments, the messages from Lutherans. So folks, there you have it. Our viewers, thank you. We want to have those messages coming. The numbers are going to be rolling moments from now. We're gone just 1 hour, 7 minutes. We are still deeper into the show. Let us come back to Brother Gagu. Brother Gagu, what's your reaction to the comments and questions from the viewers?
I think the comments made are all in place. And like I said to you before the comments, I said there are issues going on or taking place at the central office that are now beyond transitional team. So, like I said, I'll get back to the office, do a background check on all of what I'm saying, and then I'll get back to you.
Absolutely.
Because I know there was a fundraising program held, but I've not been informed by the church that she has received this money or not. Whatever it is, I'm going to do an investigation, and then I'll get back to you. Why indeed this funding was raised by our brothers and sisters, and why this renovation can start. What is the reason behind it? You will get to know from me.
Good. That's an assurance right there. You will get to know from me. Yes. I want to thank you so much, Father Gago. Thank you so much for that assurance. And by the way, next Sunday, again to our viewers, next Sunday is our regular bishop hour. So next Sunday we're going to have the bishop. He's going to be here. He's going to be giving us updates on the status of our church.
Willie, thank you. I thought you were going to expand on something different, but let me just say this: that Bishop and Reverend Dean Jala have just indicated, Willie and Jerry, I just thought to share with you. I just received that update from Dean Jala that he is willing to sit with the bishop during his hour. Bishop has not confirmed this yet. I don't want our network to be in trouble. But
you know, this is the bishop hour, so
that's the bishop hour. But Dean Jala
he
has
loves
just
to have the
texted
entire
me.
hour to himself.
Dinjala has just texted me, and I'm going to put Dinjala on the spot. I'm going to do that. Good day, brother. I am in Bond County and might get home tomorrow evening late for the conversation. Can I appear on next week last Sunday? He's in Bonota at the moment. So he's implying that he and the bishop can appear next Sunday. So today you can see why it's strange that the bishop is not a voice to be commenting, because there's no Sunday that passes without the bishop following the show from the start to the end. So Bishop is traveling right now as we speak from Bonota. So we are hoping to have Bishop and Dinjala sit with us to talk about issues in the church. And I'm sure Dinjala might be speaking from the perspective of the international conference that is expected and Monrovia district issue. So Ambassador and Willie, I think it will be a good occasion for us to highlight the issue of funds that are being raised in Monrovia district, since Dinjala is the dean of the district.
That's why specifically I said next Sunday is the bishop hour.
So, yes, definitely. Absolutely. And he will be sitting with the bishop, so it will be a very good pair to have this conversation.
So Joe, before we open the line, you want to say something? After that, I want to ask Brother Gagu the question before you open the line.
Ambassador, the line is open. Ambassador,
the line's already open.
So the phone on the screen. But Jerry, please go ahead and ask your question.
Oh, that's very good. Thank you so much, Brother Gagu. Thank you again. I mean, for giving us your time, man. I mean, you are really giving us a lot of information that is useful at this stage. And I want to say thank you very much. But I got a very simple question that I want you to throw light on or shed some light on. Are you still part of this verification team? If yes, have you verified anything, so to speak, before you had a quote unquote injunction on the verification team not being qualified or not being competent to proceed with such verification? Question.
Straight answer to your question is yes. I'm still a part of the verification committee. As a matter of fact, I am co-chair on that committee. And initially, when I started this conversation, I told you this committee have not started work. There have been some legal battle, but not necessarily a legal battle. It was not a court, like you said. The treasurer lawyer wrote a letter saying that we were not a legitimate group to do anything called verification. In fact, they refer to it as audit. We are not going to do audit. We had never had the legal right to do what we said we were doing.
Okay, Brother Gagu, sorry for interrupting you, but we got a call. Sorry for interrupting you. We got a call. Joe?
Let's continue, Jerry. The call just dropped. When the call back.
Okay. So when the call comes in, okay, Brother Gagu,
we have a caller. Let's
okay, yes. Okay. Where do you go ahead with the call? Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead. State your name in your comment, please.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. This is Elijah Zina, and I'm calling in from Minnesota. First of all, I want to say good afternoon or good. I know it's night time in Liberia now, and to be brother Gaku for making up the time to be on the show at this hour from Liberia. And as I'm listening to Senior Brother Gago trying to lay out some of the challenges they face as on the transitional team, looking at the information transmitted to them, how it went, like if you saw my comment, this is not a strange thing that had happened in our church. It's always happening. And as an institution, I think we need to learn to build our institution void of individuals, because whatever happens to the institution, people come into leadership and they leave, but the institution remains. So the management of the institution, if it is done poorly, it means that people who have been serving or people who are in leadership did a very poor job. So if you always have something to hide, then people will bring about the issue of being witch hunted when somebody tried to do verification and hold people accountable for the mental or the oath that they took to uphold and protect the institution that was entrusted to them. The LCL is an old church that has been in Liberia for so many years, and we've had conflict upon conflict after every election, because we have not come to the point to embrace one another as compatriots, or rather we see the other person as our enemy because they're not in our camp, they didn't support us during the election. So people have different feelings after elections. Some people who are serving in directorial positions and stuff like that, they think, oh, I'm going to be changed, so I got to be over here. No. The church should be the church. The same Brother Gago said. The church should be the church. We should learn to do the right thing. If I'm there, if I didn't do well, I should be held accountable for my work, because the Bible says it. We should account for what entrusted to us. So if we are not accountable, how can we call ourselves a church if we're not accountable? And then how can we teach the society to be accountable? So we have to set the example as a church so that society can follow us, so that we can have a voice in society. But when we fail to do it as a religious institution and one of the oldest in the republic, then where are we as a church?
Because where are we as a church?
Thank you very much.
I just want to stop there. There's so much to talk about this, but I appreciate that you guys were able to bring Mr. Gago on the show to just get his side of the story and see how our institution is struggling because of poor management, and people are unwilling to be accountable, and they turn it into a witch hunting situation. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you, Elijah. Folks, we have Dean Jala on the phone. I hope I'm not in trouble here, because I was just talking about Dean Jala and it didn't take long. He's on the phone, and Dean Jala is in total task. So Dean Jala will have to tell us how he's monitoring the show from and also his appearance with Bishop on Sunday, possible appearance. Dean Jala, I think it's good evening there in total time. How are you, sir? You are live on our Lutheran Connections.
I am doing pretty fun in this part of Liberia, the best place to be, Bob. I
love this place. That's wonderful. Dean, I received your message. We are looking forward to hosting you next Sunday with the bishop. We'll try to talk to the bishop for the two of you to appear. We will really want to have you here to talk a lot about Monrovia District, talk about your fundraiser, the efforts you guys are making. To support the efforts of the leadership, the national leadership. We want to have you on here. Can we take that as a confirmation?
Fantastic. We're ready to share knowledge. We're ready to share information on the dramatic progress taking place right now under the leadership of the Right Reverend Dr. G.V. Padmore, a very progressive leader that's moving our church in the right direction. So I will be absolutely happy to sit with him to share what he's been doing and what he wants to do. And so we're looking forward to it. We're just on top of the games, and we're trusting God for God to keep holding our hands to bring us to the place of permanence in this country, again, as a church, the LCL for that matter.
So Dean, we got you on the phone already. We know you are very busy out there, but can you just share light on the money that was raised by Monrovia District? This is something that's making everyone else excited here. Is this really true that you raised some money already for the bishop's residence?
This is ongoing process. We are committed to it, and we promised Bishop asked for $8,000, and we said to him we could do 10,000, and that's what Montreal District stands for. When you ask for one, we are giving you 2 or 3. Or
that's right.
Josiah Jockey Montreal District, the ambassador belongs to Montreal District. Brother Kobe belongs to the Montreal District, and who else? Abel Lewoli belongs to the Montreal District. Corpo City belongs to the Montreal District. So what are you guys talking about?
And Reverend Yakpaso, Reverend Fanny Yakpaso.
You also have Brother Gago on the show. He's our guest today. He has been talking about the transitional process and doing fantastically well. Brother Gago is right on the show here. He's listening to you.
I'm the co-chair. And you know, we had a very terrible transition. It was not smooth. It was not effective. It was not efficient. I can tell you that off my head for fight. I want you to know that. But we're moving ahead. In the midst of the challenges, he might have lamented on them. I'm not sure what he said, but I tell you, it was not a smooth transition. But God being on our side, the storm will not break us down. But let's go back to the renovation process. We already did just 7,000, man. And through the special grace of God.
Wow, you already raised 7,000.
Yeah, Church Alpha says he already raised 7.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, God is doing wonderful things. And the people are so excited. The marriages are so excited. And so we did 7,000 already.
Dean, sorry, I don't want to lose my thought. What do you think is the motivation behind all of this excitement? You think it's because of the accountability stance that the leadership has taken? That's what motivating the people?
This is by the special grace of God first.
Uh-huh.
And the leadership is moving towards ownership through transparency and accountability. I'm even afraid that if I make a telephone call to you and I don't bring the receipt, I might not get reimbursed. We are on our toes. We are on our toes. I took a $10 receipt to the treasurer of the LCL for making calls. You can ask her, she will tell you. She said to me, "What is this?" And I said to her, "Didn't you give me a $10 to buy 2 scratch cards?"
Are you joking? Are you joking? She asked you that question. What is this? It means that she's not used to it.
Can you please? If she was used to it, what happened to the bank reconciliation, the money bank reconciliation? Don't you know what went wrong when over $54,000
was from the church account?
Lead training center. So if they are doing bank reconciliation, then of course they will be used to bring in invoices and payment voucher and what have you. There have been some challenges, but let's go back to the renovation. It's on course. St. Matthew still have a $2,000 left. Trinity has a $1,000 left. Good Shepherd has a $500 left. And so if you put together, that 3,000 far left.
That's 10,000.
7,000 in cash that we give already to the office of the treasurer. And you can verify that. And through the special grace of God, this is how we're moving progressively.
Dean Jala, thank you so much.
I have a question quickly.
Central Liberia, enjoy the great natural ambience. Enjoy your night, sir. We will have you here next Sunday, and we will wrap up all of these issues.
Bijo, hold on, Dean Jala, please. Can he just show a little bit on the International Lutheran Conference coming up? Can he just throw a little bit light on the
we want Dinjala to talk about this, Willie, on the international conference when he's sitting with us. Let's talk to him about that when he's sitting with us.
Exactly. Let him go. I mean, let him go. Come back.
So Dinjala, please enjoy the rest of your evening. We will be having you and Bishop here next Sunday. It's going to be fabulous. Thank you so much.
It's fantastic up here in Toronto, and I'm looking forward to see you guys for the international conference that I'm going to be discussing with you next Sunday. I hope you guys are getting ready. Take off your shock and get ready and get on flight to come. And they are looking forward to see you, our parishes, the parishioners, and it's just fantastic up country. I love it. I'm so happy to be back home to serve God's people.
Thank you, Dean Jala. That was the voice of Dean Jala, Dr. Jala. He is the Dean of Monrovia District. You heard all the news that he just shared with us. It's just the tip of the iceberg of what we're going to be having here next Sunday. You were actually in flight, Jerry, Ambassador, when the calls started coming in. You were asking Brother Gagu some questions, so we want to go back to that question. Brother Gagu, you heard it. You have been vindicated. Dinja has just confirmed that you had a terrible transitional process, just as you lay out here on the show. So you guys are in sync in terms of the kind of experience you had, So, Ambassador, it's over to you.
Yeah, so I think it was actually Brother Gagu in flight, and he was just laying off the basis on why he believed that the the verification team did some work, and I was just asking what has been verified, and I think he was trying to give some feedback about some court or something from the lawyers of the treasurer saying that they did not have the core competence to verify anything. We just want to know where they are now.
All right.
Jerry, on the issue of the verification committee, we've been meeting at our cheerleaders' house in person of Madam Sandra Howard, but our work is yet to start. We've not started. The legal team, LCL has a legal team that is headed by Patterson Sumo, advised the leadership that he needed to do a lot of study on what was going on before giving us green light. But we have been given the green light to start work. We are now in the planning stage of how we're going to go about. One of those problems probably we might be having, I don't want to refer to it as problem either. We are now, the church is now going to be asking a new auditing firm to come and do re-audit, so that mandate was given to the church leadership by the executive council at her last sitting. But with the verification committee, we're supposed to start sometime this week. I don't know whether the guy who is actually heading LTR is going to answer to Bishop's call. He needs to be there before we get there. We need to start with LTR because that's the heartbeat of the bishop. So we want to know what was at LTR and what is there currently. So we'll be moving on. The committee will soon be getting in a full swing, and our committee, like the chairlady, have warned all of us. This committee is confidential. At the end of our report, you'll be made to know what are those things we got up. But in the process, we are not going to be discussing about it. We're going to remain tight while we do the work. At the end of the work, I'm quite sure the leadership will be able to share with you what are those things we've got up.
Yeah, on the periphery, Brother Gagu, I'm a bit confused. Please clear my confusion. Uh, the executive council has been given the green light to get a firm to audit. So is the auditing and the verification going to be done concomitantly, or is there going to be any the what's the scope
Con-
of the verification committee
Concomitantly,
if we got the auditing firm coming in?
yes. Simultaneously, yes. Um, the audit committee, I mean the audit firm, will actually be dealing with the cash just by the board of finance verifying two accounts. Got to realize that 52,000, it was 56, but an adjustment was made and it came to 52. 52,000 of our money was taken away by some unscrupulous individuals. That's an alleged story until it's proven. So the executive council then said, we need to have a new team. We need to have a new team. And this new team has to be set up. We need to have a new auditing team. Probably by that, at that sitting, our previous auditing firm, I think, will be stopped or was stopped at that executive council meeting. So this team that is coming to do the audit will basically be looking at cash. I said to you, LCL has somewhere around 30 accounts. Only two the board
Hmm.
of finance were able to verify.
Hmm.
Yeah. So,
So I
you
think
know,
the response to Jerry's question is that what's going to be done is a financial audit. Jerry, is that the case? I think that's the case, a financial audit, and they will be
the,
doing
the, the financial audit
okay.
will be done by the new auditing firm that will be hired.
Okay.
The verification committee, because the verification committee might not have the technical know-how to do a forensic audit. So we there are leases or leases we have, there are institutions we have, we need to check on them to verify. We need to go to LTR. The guy who has been handling LTR has left, and before anybody take over LTR, which happens to be the heartbeat of the bishop right now, we need to go there and know what he met there. When he got there, what did he see? And what do we have there now? And why those things that he met there are not there now? Those are questions we'll be asking.
So in short, to Jerry's question,
The
we
two
actually
work
have we have two processes that are going on concomitantly. We have
Yeah,
the financial audit that will be happening, and then we have the verification of assets that you guys are conducting. Correct?
the leadership now is trying to do a vetting to see which which auditing firm will be able to take, because that work, our work is a pro bono work. That work is not free, and the church will
Mhm.
have to raise money to pay for that work. But for us, we're going to start and we will move on. Our process was being hijacked, and people had issue. And I'm sure you guys saw the communication the former
Yes.
bishop wrote the current bishop
We saw
concerning
it
the
and discussed it. Yeah. Yeah.
so
Yeah,
we've been
Papa Gakwe, it's been a great time here with us. We really appreciate you accepting our invite to sit with us. It was really rewarding having you. You provided insights into the topic for today. We really appreciate it. And we will have you give us your final comments. We are at the end of the show. After your final comments, then we will do our routine to end the show for today. So it's over to you for your final comments, sir.
thank you. And I also appreciate being with you guys tonight. One issue I like to talk about, there's a big question that my little brother Jerry asked, and that question was, where are we as a church? And that question is very important. Where are we? Do we want to see an improved LCL? Do we want to see the LCL that we don't want to see? So, as a church, we have to do away with thinking the negative. Nobody is running behind anyone here. What we are doing is to making sure that those things that were done, if they were not done rightly, let us know what happened.
Right.
So, and I appreciate you. I'm always, sometimes I don't listen to you, but when you are done, you send it to the chat room. I take my
Right.
own time to go through it. It's quite rewarding. And this platform, Joe, uh, we need to make sure that my last comment is, even though we're working on it, there are some highlight coming out. Um, you left a key thing here that will have to hold you back. I know there'll be a team working on it. This Luther FM, we need to make sure that the Luther FM come back to life.
Amen.
And so this is also a good start. It brings us to light. And I thought some guys who were witnessing were going to call and ask me some of those critical questions because, like Reverend Jala said it, he said it the other way he wanted it, but I did not go that route. But I just told you the transition was unfriendly, and I gave you the definition of friendly and unfriendly transition. So
That's
thank you
right.
so much. I look forward to appearing very shortly.
Yes, absolutely. Very shortly. Yes.
Willie?
Yeah. Yeah, we want to thank you very much for joining us today. My closing comment actually would be that like you said, shortly. We hope that it will be very, very short. And the platform is open, like we will always say that it's open to every Lutheran, every Lutheran. This is a global platform. The last time we had the director of African National Ministries of the ELC, he was here along with the team working along with our team in Liberia for the International Lutheran Conference. So for those who will be watching later, for those who are watching now, if you're interested in attending the International Lutheran Conference, you just heard it from the Dean of Monrovia District. He's the host chairperson of the International Lutheran Conference there in Liberia. He said that the stage is set. So we have two categories. We have delegates and observers. As an observer, please, and also a delegate, we encourage you to please go onto the website. That's www.relc2023.org. You will have all of the information there, and we hope that we see everyone in Liberia. Thank you very much. And
Ambassador?
I hope you don't charge me for commercial now, because we're doing something little.
That's what I almost wanted to have said, but it is good because we told our Reverend Dr. Bo and
Dr. Boko, yes.
Boko and Dr. Dennis and
Dennis,
Sis
yeah.
Maria that we were going to make sure we always put it every time on our show, so that people, so it remains active on the mind of people, so that they always participate. But again, I want to say thank you so much to our big brother, Mr. Zana Gagu, for allowing us to bring him the interview. I must admit that a lot of things have been unraveled, even though we still got more questions to ask, but time is fast spent. And we hope that we'll be able to get you next time, so we ask you some more questions after you've done your own verification, so to speak. But we really happy that we were able to get some information from you, and you were able to share it on some of the issues that we've been discussing. But folks, we want to say that you remember that we are one Lutheran, and it is only us that can ensure that our church develops, regardless of our differences. Even a identical twin cannot have these ideas. They always got opposing views. But notwithstanding, we should disagree to agree. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jerry. Thank you, Willie. It's been a fantastic show. And let me just say to you this, that this year, one of the goals we seek to achieve is to establish a solid partnership with the Association of Liberian Lutherans in the Americas. They're going to be a partner with us, My Lutheran Connections Online TV. We're going to be working together. That means we're going to be expanding the scope of our operation as a network. We're going to be working alongside with Aliyah. That's coming up. We will always remind you each time we come here every Sunday about the partnership coming up. And I think you will appreciate this because Aliyah is a solid partner to the Lutheran Church in Liberia. So working together from the perspective of the diaspora is just quite important for the expansion and growth of My Lutheran Connections Online TV. Next Sunday, we're going to be here with Bishop, the Right Reverend G. Victor Patmo. He is the Bishop of the Lutheran Church in Liberia. He has a special segment on My Lutheran Connections Online TV. The last Sunday of every month, we're going to have Bishop here and also have him with Dean Jala. T. Thomas Jala, he is the Dean of Monrovia District. He's going to be here with the Bishop to talk about crucial issues in the LCL and also in Monrovia District. Beyond that, Dean Jala is going to be talking about the international conference that's going to be taking place in Liberia, which is critical. I mean, it makes us feel prouder as Lutherans to be the host of the international conference. So you have to get set, save the date next Sunday, the same time here on My Lutheran Connections TV. We want to be here. So thank you for watching and listening. This has been My Lutheran Connections Online TV production. Bye.